All right. We are live. We are live. Guys, you were in here literally in 2 seconds. I love you, bro. Why was there no stream yesterday? Well, let me wait till we get a couple more people here and then I will explain why there was no stream yesterday. It has to do with a word that rhymes with Ovid. You know, there's a company actually called Ovid Therapeutics. And I invested in them a while back. But that is the reason why there was no stream yesterday. Wow, 14 people here. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Appreciate it. It means the world. Yo, James, what's up? Richard, Delty from London. Awesome. Thank you guys for being here. 25 people. I appreciate you guys. You can hear it. Everyone can hear it, right? Audio's good. Yes, audio should be good. Okay. I got COVID, guys. That's why really over the past 3 days, I've barely uploaded a video. That is the reason why I didn't do the live stream yesterday. I almost did the live stream yesterday. I was up at 9:10 and I was like, should I do it? Should I not? And then I tried to talk. I just imagined what it would be like talking about the market. And I was like, I'm going to sound like a complete idiot if I try to talk about the market. But I'm getting a lot better. Fever's going down. Haven't had the fever in about 20 hours. So I think we're doing good. So let me just tweet this link or send this to my Discord. So yeah, I haven't had COVID since March 2020. It's been a little bit rough, but we're here. In March 2020, I couldn't breathe. Now it's a little bit of a cold, so I don't want it to be too big of a deal. But it was a little bit annoying. How did I get it? I have no clue. Literally zero clue. I literally go to one place every day. I go to my office. I talk to one person every day. So I'm like, where did this come from? Who the hell gave me COVID? No clue. But it is what it is. It is what it is. All right. Can you guys see my Weeble? Can you guys see the charts? No? All right. Let me share it again. Share. The stock market is about to open. Ever since I left, the S&P has collapsed even more. So where are we at on the SPY? 402. I mean, it's up 403 in the pre-market. Goodness gracious. The market has basically collapsed. I have a great podcast coming out with Sean today that explains kind of why this is all happening, but it's not really the best. Your financial independence. What's up? I only got COVID once. Yeah, this is my second time actually getting it. Gabriel, thank you for being here. Gabriel offered to buy me Uber Eats yesterday, Gabriel. So I really appreciate that. It's the thought that counts. That means the world to me, Gabriel. So I appreciate you a ton. Jeremy, today's my 42nd birthday. Hoping the market is kind to me. Everyone wish Jeremy a happy birthday in the chat. Happy birthday, Jeremy. I hope you have a great day. I hope the market is a little bit more kind to you today as well, because it's not been the kindness over the past couple days. Gabriel just landed in Miami. Why are you in the conference? That's what I thought. I thought the conference was in September for some reason. Okay. Very cool. Gabe is in a really exclusive conference. Gabe, you definitely got to take a bunch of... Gabe, make sure you record, because whenever you launch your YouTube thing, your channel, we're going to want to see that content. You left and took the S&P with you. Bring it back. Oh, boy. The S&P. Adam in the chat. Feel good, man. Thank you, Adam. I appreciate you, man. Get well soon, bro. I appreciate you. I get paid to wait. Get better. Really, I appreciate you guys. It means the world to me. All right, let's get into business. So S&P at 402, we are having unprecedented levels in the market. Well, it's not that unprecedented, right? Because Rome said, look, this inflation thing is not over, everybody. It's insane to me. It is insane. And I've been saying it's insane, but it's still insane to see the market rally from 360 to 430 off what? Off going from 9.1 to 8.5. And people are like, well, it's baked in. There's catalysts. It's it's still 8.5% inflation. It's still insane. Why is the market rallying? It didn't make any sense. And the market, one of the chief guys at the Fed, he even said yesterday in a quote, I am happy the way the market reacted to Thursday's or Friday's news, meaning he's happy the market went down, because his argument was there is no reason the market should be up. We see the S&P is about 50 on the RSIs. As you can see, between 40 and 50 means it's kind of fairly valued. Under 30 means it's underbought or oversold. Above 70 means it's overbought. The market is going to open in about 30 seconds. We have the cowbell with us today. For those who are new to the channel, we are the only channel on YouTube that rings the cowbell when the market opens. It is 9:30. I hope everybody's ready. The market is open. Wake your ass up. The United States stock market is open. I have a couple of stocks I want to get into. First is Twitter. Okay. Elon Musk just filed another claim that that the Twitter deal should be canceled. There were like some unprecedented reasons why they explained why it should be canceled. But Twitter is down on the news that this deal might not get done, which a week ago was at 45 because people were thinking it's going to get done. I mean, it's absolutely insane. Absolutely insane how it's going. But I mean, if you want to know what smart money is doing with track the bond market did not react to Jerome Powell's words. We will bounce. Well, Gabe, I'm gonna ask you more on this on our Zoom call Wednesday if you're gonna be available for that. Because I really Gabe says the S&P is not going below 390, which is interesting. Google 111, Roku 60. Roku. I didn't. Well, Roku. Look at Roku. It's just above 30 on the RSI. Roku is, I mean, you could argue Roku is massively undervalued right now just from pure financials, $3 billion in revenue, 12 billion market cap. Like, I can understand why Kathy's buying it, but Roku has collapsed all the way down to 68 as well. I didn't even know it was back in the 60s. AMC below $10 makes sense. Nvidia 159. Their guidance for earnings was not the best. I can understand why they are down a full, basically 100% from their highs. But you know, it is what it is. If you believe in the long-term vision of the chips business and the gaming business, you know, Nvidia should be fine. Snowflake 190. Snowflake's earnings were pretty phenomenal. The valuation now is legitimately not undervalued. Let's just say that. So I would stay away from Snowflake. I would not touch it. But you know, Snowflake's doing, obviously they're growing really well. Palantir 789. I bought a little bit here and there. I haven't had the big buy yet of around $4,000 or $5,000. Still waiting. I'm not that eager yet. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in the market. So I'm just like, I'll do it when I do it. I'm really not that eager yet. But Palantir 788. I'm coming out with a video today about the Palantir pack. It's this article by The Protocol. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's like similar to the PayPal Mafia. It's a really interesting concept. We're going to be talking about it a little bit more today and getting in depth on there. Coinbase, wow, below 70. This was at 105. 2 weeks ago on the BlackRock partnership. Wow. That's an interesting one. Roku down almost 90% from highs. Yeah, I appreciate everyone saying get well soon in the chat. It means up the world to me. Thank you guys. I picked up Roku at 68. I'm bullish at these levels. I can't even argue that. I can't argue not being bullish at these levels at 68. Bed Bath & Beyond. What is this? Wait, is this the real one? No, this has to be the fake one. Oh, no. Wow. $15. Bed Bath & Beyond having a little bit of rally, up 10%. Palantir rallying a little bit to the $8. Tesla down at 287. I bought one Tesla share at 294, so Tesla's at 287. A little bit down from where I bought it at. But Netflix. Me and Sean talked about Netflix last night. I think you guys are going to appreciate. Netflix is introducing an advertising tier to their business that costs $7 to $9 a month. They have said to the market, in order to watch ads, you will have to pay $9. Now, people are like, oh, Hulu does that. Hulu is not Netflix. Netflix is supposed to be the most elite premium content. And the whole logic of getting open to a brand new consumer base and forcing them to pay and still take out their wallet just to access your content versus monetize them with. The reason I think they're doing this is because I think they realize, look, our content isn't strong enough for us to be able to give away a free version. Because if we do that, everyone who pays $15 a month will literally unsubscribe for the free version because they can handle a couple of ads. It's the honest truth. I am not touching this stock. I don't care if you think it's undervalued. There is no thesis to this stock. There's just maybe on the technicals it's undervalued. Maybe. There's no thesis to me. It's hard for me to stomach it. I can't sleep well at night knowing I own that stock. I can't. Bitcoin went below 19,000. Now it's at 20,000 again. Bitcoin, I mean, it's collapsed from 25,000. If we do see a little bit more of a downfall that we saw in June, 17 was the bottom on Bitcoin, 17.5. So we'll see how Bitcoin reacts over time as well. How are those night sweats? Bro, I woke up this morning sweating again. It was so, you guys can't see it because it's like a dark color on the shirt. It was annoying, bro. Like I woke up literally annoyed. Like, why am I sweating so much? Amit, besides Palantir, what other stock are you looking to build a position? Okay. Either SoFi or Google. I think SoFi has a 10x inside of it, but I still don't know enough about it. Google just for a little bit more of a big tech macro kind of hedge. I mean, look at Rivian. All right, let's go to Rivian. Rivian, or also the S&P. Honestly, I would just like to get some more of the S&P. Rivian at 32. What was the you need to look at Rivian? What's going on with Rivian? Is this the right one? Yeah, Chris. What was the unique part about Rivian? Well, it's up. It's up a bit. Let me know. I think they were in the news the other day, though, right? So you got COVID or just common cold? It's COVID, so it's annoying. Yeah, well, soon. Thanks for streaming. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's look at some other stocks. And Chris, let me know what you want to say about Rivian. Let's look at ARK. So ARK is, let's look at the ARK Innovation Fund. I'm going to go to the recent buys just now in a second. ARK is at $43. They have recently bought DNA, Ginkgo Bioworks, which I am analyzing more deeply than I've analyzed various other companies. It's at 27 on the RSIs. Remember, if you're under 30, you're likely oversold. And they've been buying a lot of it. Let me share my screen right now on their recent buys. It's a lot. Like, it's a lot. It's getting to the point where it's more than 70 million shares, but it's still such a small position in the fund because the price is so low. A lot of good reviews. Rivian is 1.5 in cash and growing like crazy. Okay. I think that is an article I saw as well, that their growth is pretty good. Yeah, I haven't looked into Rivian. I need to learn more about them. I feel like if you're gonna go with EVs, the obvious pick, right, is Tesla. But like, yeah, no, it makes sense to look at and diversify. Lucid, by the way, offered a $8 billion mixed shelf offering, which basically says they have the option when you file with the SEC for a mixed shelf offering to be able to dilute shareholders by $8 billion. It's like an offering, but it's on the shelf. That's why it's like a shelf offering. And so Lucid is Lucid. Look at this. Another 227,000 shares of Ginkgo Bioworks, DNA. And what here? Another 70,000 shares. And then if we go down just a little bit, we got another 1.4 million. This is on August 26th, last Friday. And then we go down 1.493 million. I mean, like, now Ginkgo has 1 billion shares outstanding, but like, goodness, this is a lot of stock. A lot of stock that she's buying here. A lot of stock. Zoom. She also bought the dip on Zoom. Let's go to Zoom. Where is Zoom? Where's good old Zoom? Because Zoom was struggling last time I saw. 81. Zoom's looking at phenomenal levels on the RSI. Right above 30. So you can imagine they do that. What happens if they buy Palantir again? I don't think they're doing that. I mean, they got out at the right time, right? They were right about that. DNA has two platforms. They have a DNA Founder where people use their platform to build synthetic DNA engineering, and they have a cold library Rolodex. If somebody hits a whole run, DNA makes royalties. Yes, that is absolutely correct. The other thing about DNA is I forgot what I was going to say, but there's a very specific approach they also have to be able to license their software. Careful to not get hung up on the RSI. You can have confirmation bias just by switching time frames as it changes. That's a good point, Saskia Rose. It's very important to not get hung up on the RSI. I recently started getting more deeper into technical analysis, which is why RSI has been a bit of more confirmation biasing, if that's a word. So that's a very good point. It's important to not get super big into it. Okay, let's get into the CNBC. Let's see what they're talking about today. See what the talking heads have got to talk about. And let's keep going. I mean, Jay Powell's meeting on Friday, it kind of just like set everything off into, you got gas prices, you got a lot of different stuff going on right now. And, it is what it is. It is what it is. All right, so let's see this one. The market requires patience. Do not pay attention to day-over-day changes. Let's take a look at this, and then we'll get back into some more technical stuff.
Joe Theory actually published a great piece on this, breaking down the rally that we saw off the lows in June and July. He published this at the beginning of August and reasons to remain cautious on it. So the first point, which really gets to this concept of short covering, was there was very bearish positioning that had exacerbated moderately positive news. And that bearish positioning we saw across both institutional clients as well as retail clients. So when we're looking at how bearish the market was. I mean, this was the worst start to the year in history when you look at both.
Okay, so this is a good point explaining the rally from 360 to 420. Basically, her argument is like the market was so bearish and stocks were so quote unquote oversold that we had to go back up. That didn't mean we were supposed to go back up. That is the difference. It's kind of difference between like would and should. It's like, yeah, we should go up, but we don't need to. We should keep having some pain. But the market just decided for that short-term rally, which explains the rally, but that doesn't mean it was supposed to happen.
Equities and fixed income declining in tandem by more than 10%. That hasn't happened. You saw a lot of the reports around it was one of the worst starts to the year on record for the 60-40 portfolio. And so US equity futures, when we saw net short positions, they reached their highest levels in over 10 years. So what happened? A lot of people thought that maybe the worst was priced in. Maybe we kind of overdid this sell-off and that there is some positive news coming, or that we've already priced in the damage that was done from a bear market. So we saw that. And then we saw really resilient Q2 earnings. So we saw resilient Q2 earnings, some top line revenue growth, which surprised to the upside. And the market took that and continued to rally. I think the one piece, though, and this goes back to what Chair Powell said on Friday and really reiterated, is the fact that people were starting to try to find dovish signals in what the Fed was saying. And we didn't buy that. I think the Fed has been very resolute on what they're doing, why they're doing it, and that they're going to continue on a hawkish path. And so I think Friday basically eliminated any of that ambiguity.
So you were just basically saying that players had been set up short with indexes or whatever. It was kind of a generic comment that people were positioned for a market sell-off when it doesn't happen.
People were positioned, expecting it, exactly.
It had nothing to do with meme stocks or short this, short. It was just, I said to someone yesterday that on Market Watch, when they don't know why the market goes up on any given day, they say short covering. Short covering is the most common reason for a market advance that people have been, I've heard it 10,000 times in my career, I would say. So I don't understand the whole notion, but it's a very good point. People were positioned from June 16th, probably short, and so there was some covering, and that had to do with it. Now, talk about.
And actually, if you look at what you were saying earlier, just in terms of the VIX being relatively muted, right? So when we look at a week like this, and we saw yesterday some continued sell-off, today futures look positive. I mean, paying a lot of credence to the market action that we're seeing this week, right? Day over day, you're talking about markets are thin, people are on vacation, and actually patience is required. Investors are in a little bit of a wait and see mode with light volumes, cash on the sidelines, as the market is really awaiting what's going to happen on Friday with jobs data, and also what's going to happen with CPI data on September 13th. So this is a market that requires patience, and I think paying too much attention to some of these day-over-day movements could actually get you into a little bit of trouble.
Do you think, Kristen, that we go to new?
Okay. September 13th, CPI data. Very, very important. I actually didn't know the day, so now we know September 13th CPI data. So yeah, I mean, the basic argument they were saying is like the market was ready for this. This was all kind of planned, understood, and it ended up happening. We ended up having to see the sell-off. Best Buy had their earnings, quarterly sales drop, inflation-worried consumers pull back on spending. This is interesting. Revenue, $10 billion. They beat revenue, 10.3 versus 10.24. Earnings 1.54 over 1.27. So, I mean, they beat on all metrics. It seems like they didn't beat big enough. CEO says, we are clearly operating in an uneven sales environment. The company is focused on balancing our near-term response to difficult conditions and managing well what is under our control as it works towards long-term growth. I'm curious about inventories. Okay, here we go. The retailer saw sales rise nearly 20% as shoppers bought TVs, laptops, and more to sustain pandemic-fueled habits like working from home and streaming movies. Some of these patterns have faded. Sales online declined by 12.1% versus a year ago. That makes sense. That's a little bit better than their guidance. They thought it was going to go down by 13%. Net income went to 306 from 7 to 34 million. Wow. Okay, so that's the decline. But I mean, that was expected, so that's okay. Retailers across the industry are coping with abundance of unwanted merchandise. Walmart and Target. Barry said Best Buy closely manages merchandise to make sure it doesn't get stuck with. Okay, so Best Buy does not have a massive inventory problem, which is good. At the end of the second quarter, she said inventory was down 6% compared with the year ago period. It was up about 16% from the same time in 2019. So compared to 2019, they're up. and they have a lot of inventory. Compared to 2021, they're down, which is good if you're comparing it to 2021. They spent $34 million on the restructuring effort, on buybacks. All right, let's go to their stock. This is BBY, not BBBBBBBBBBBBBY. The other one is a meme, one is a legitimate company. Best Buy's legit. I like Best Buy. I enjoy going to a Best Buy. Let me know if you guys go to your local Best Buys. Where's Weeble? Oh, here it is. Like, I actually like Best Buy. Sometimes even more than Amazon. Best Buy's at 78, 40 on the RSI. What is their max? I have never seen. Okay, so they've been public since 1988. They got to 138 at their highest. When was this? November 2021. Okay, makes sense. That's the highest all time, right? Yeah, literally all time. Do they pay a dividend? I don't think Best Buy pays a dividend. I feel like they do. I don't know. 138. And since then, the lowest they got was 64 back June 30th. Okay. So, I mean, from the June lows, it's up, $12. Not bad. Quality company, $10 billion in a quarter. It's hard to complain too much about them. S&P 402 declining a little bit. We are $2 away from 3 hundos on the S&P. Psychologically, I think that is a big deal. Best Buy is too expensive most of the time. I use Amazon. So I thought that was the case, Lawrence, but then I realized some of the stuff is actually the same. But in general, yes, you're correct. Amazon is a little bit more cheaper in most things than Best Buy. Okay, cool. So let's get back into the markets in some videos. China and Taiwan, a little bit of a touchy topic. We've seen a lot of stuff in the news. Obviously, it is a global macroeconomic concern. Let's hear about that.
It's fundamentally changed with China?
I mean, I think it's clear that we're in a new era with China. I think that what's happening in Taiwan, China just uses Pelosi's visit as a reason to ratchet. All they've been ratcheting in one way, in one direction, and it's towards the eventual takeover of Taiwan, whether they do it peacefully or as she said in a speech, peacefully or else. The question is, do they invade, and do they invade in the next year or two? They invade in the next 3 or 4? And what does that mean for U.S. national security with our reliance on Taiwan semi for chips and our reliance on China for antibiotic production and blood pressure medicine? There are some things where there is a reliance that is such a deep reliance on China on core areas of our existence. But then the flip side is we actually hold the economic nuclear button in the United States. China still uses dollars to interact with the rest of the world for the overwhelming majority of their transactions. And so if China's belligerence gets to a point where we need to do something, potentially engage either militarily or economically, I believe we should press that economic button and remove them from the SWIFT system and use that as a deterrent for China's potential invasion of Taiwan. Those are the things that
The SWIFT system, by the way, is like the universal international monetary system of exchanging currencies and like goods and services. It's economic payment infrastructure that exists to connect the entire world. We banned Russia from it when they invaded Ukraine. So he just talked about, potentially doing that with China.
I think need to be socialized in our government.
So do they wait until they build up their parallel SWIFT system?
You say parallel SWIFT system. So far, it's kind of like the old axis of evil, right? You have Russia partnering with China.
Yeah.
And you have Iran as a friend of China, and you have North Korea as a potential friend of China. Mm-hmm. If the bad guys want to go hang out on the bad block, there is not going to be enough of a, quote, SWIFT system for the bad guys to properly operate. So I don't believe that that's an alternative. I think that their reliance on the globe is still going to be tantamount to their success. And their global primacy is something that they've convinced some academics in the U.S., some of the think tanks, and even some of the Wall Street analysts. And I don't think that's a foregone conclusion.
I think they have so much leeway, Kyle, and I think we're in an appease, not a confront mode here. And I don't have to look any further than, I don't know, who do you want to talk about? 650 million basketball fans in China. I mean, what the Houston Rockets guy, what did he say? You're down in Texas.
Yeah,
what did he say?
Daryl Morey
He said
just said that he wanted to
slightest-
support democracy.
slightest-
God forbid
the slightest thing.
that he says on Twitter, I
and-
support democracy.
Right. And that's just, I don't want to pick on the NBA, but name your multinational, name us en masse as a country that needs to trade, needs those billion and how many ever consumers that you want to count that we need. So what kind of power do we really have? We don't have any.
Churchill said going into World War II, he's famous for his comments from call it 1930 to 1935 and being the only one in the UK Parliament saying, does anyone see what's going on here? Germany is looking to basically come to an equal number of planes and ships, and they're not supposed to be doing this, and we're funding them. And is anyone paying attention?
Yeah.
And at some point in time, they had to pay attention to what was going on with Hitler. And that appeasement, if I'm rereading this book, Churchill wrote a series of 6 books. One is called The Gathering Storm. It's the first one. And the parallels to the build up into World War II now, I'm not saying we're going to World War III. I'm just saying that the vested interests with US and UK investment into, let's just say, the aggressor, the parallels are shockingly similar. And the appeasement that's going on to a country that both of the last 2 secretaries of state said are committing a genocide and are engaging in live organ harvesting. And we all know that their ideology is very different than that of the developed West, but yet we continue to trade with them. Why do we trade with someone that is committing genocide? Well, because we really like profits and we really like cheap stuff. But at some point,
I'm actually surprised that CNBC is able to speak this badly about China. It just hit me. I'm like, do they not have any major Chinese advertisers or interest? They're like the global business media company, multi-billion-dollar media business company. It's interesting, man. I guess they have no Chinese interests, because if they did, be very clear, just like the guy from the NBA, most of the NBA crap is made in China, who said, oh, China should have a democracy, and he got shut down immediately by the commissioner of the NBA. CNBC hosts would not be talking crap about China if Comcast said, hey, stop talking crap about China. That would not happen. I'm actually very surprised that Comcast doesn't have any Chinese interest and they're able to just say what they want, because if they had even the slightest, they would not have a Chinese segment. That guy literally just said, basically, this is what happened before World War II, which is you had this authoritarian state that was committing a genocide that we let do it because, we wanted profits and whatever else, a more globalized economy, and we overlooked it. And now it's catching back up to us because they might invade Taiwan because they're feel better to do it because Russia invaded Ukraine. I mean, it's interesting. It's a good thing. We got to call that stuff out. What's going to end up happening? I don't know. But this is the geopolitical macro time we are living in, and it is incredibly important to be able to think about this stuff. Unbelievably important to be able to analyze this stuff right now, given what's going on in the macro. It affects everything. Elon Musk cites whistleblower claims on latest effort to scrap Twitter deal. So this is the analysis coming out for the Twitter deal stuff. We saw that he had a termination agreement. The whistleblower came out and basically said Twitter is lying about their spam and fraud, even though they are accurate about their monetizable monthly active users or daily active users. So it was kind of like he was agreeing with Elon, but he also was agreeing with Twitter from some respect. Twitter's legal chief said, Mike said, Musk's legal representative said, allegations regarding certain facts known to Twitter prior to as of July 8, 2022, but undisclosed to the Musk parties prior to and before that time, have since come to light. That is the whistleblower, and that provide additional and distinct bases to terminate the agreement. It makes sense. Like if a whistleblower comes out and says the company was not taking spam and bots seriously, meaning the whistleblower, they're protected under American law. They were able to say, hey, I worked in the company sucked at this, and Musk didn't know about that. Now he knows. That's a material piece of news, you could argue. I mean, you could definitely make a hell of an argument. Now Twitter's going to argue it's not that serious, but it could be. They go on trial October 17th in Delaware. So we got about a month, a little bit over a month to see what happens. Month and a half to see. Wejo has great buying from other companies in the market, but it could be like Rivian. I am going to be potentially going to an event hosted by Wejo soon. So if you guys are interested in more about Wejo, I will. The events, I'm literally flying out to a different state. I can't say too much about it yet, but I potentially may be doing that late September. And so I'll hopefully be able to give you guys some more investigative journalism about Wejo to learn a little bit more about it. But Wejo, where's their stock right now? Where's Wejo? $1. Yeah, I mean, like, look, Wejo is screaming buy to me, but I even still don't understand their long-term game plan. I mean, I do, but I don't feel confident enough yet because I don't understand the numbers fully. It's like a penny stock right now. Look, it's massively oversold on the RSI, right? It's under 30, so I get that. But it's also, I mean, it's hard for me to just pull the trigger immediately because my whole thesis has been, if I'm going to buy a Palantir SPAC, I should just buy Palantir and I get exposure to the SPAC. That's been my logic. At some level, the SPACs do get ridiculous. Like Babylon Health as well. They put out earnings the other day. Wow, they're at 70 cents. I mean, they're growing earnings by 4x. They're doing $1 billion in revenue. It's just like in this market, it's really hard to be able to put it. That's why Palantir, even being at $7-8, putting up $443 million in revenue, as much as everyone hated, I was like, hey man, they're doing the best they can in this market, and they have $2 billion in cash and no debt. Like they're doing the best they freaking can. So, yeah, Wejo's interesting to me. I'll just say that Wejo's very interesting, especially at this price. I mean, given what they might be able to do, especially at this price, it's interesting. So is DNA, even ARK. ARK is getting interesting. What's the other big ARK? Square. Where's Square at? Block 68, just above 30 on the RSI. 68. What about TDoc? TDoc, wow, 31. TDoc's down. TDoc's down pretty bad. It's at those low levels. Tesla at 284. Spotify coming down a little bit at 109. What else do we have? Costco at 531, Microsoft 265, Enphase. What's Enphase doing? 292. Enphase is a champion, man. Enphase is going. Now, Enphase is overbought, you could say, just according to the RSIs, which makes sense to me. 300 is a bit too much. Look at this. In January 2021, well, everything was overbought. But it's so interesting. It was at 53 when this was at what, like 150, 190? 150, yeah, around 160-ish. It's approaching overbought territories. Enphase is a great stock, man. It's a beautiful stock. It's just timing is everything on that stock in particular. And the timing kind of sucks. DCFC, I think one of the best Palantir SPACs, doing phenomenal. They're even at $6 and they're maintaining 6 because of how phenomenal they're doing. Given the market's just not nice to SPACs right now. BBLN risks bankrupt very quickly. I love the company, but it's super high risk. I own some BBLN, but I feel expect to lose it all. Yeah, I mean, like a lot of those SPACs have a little bit of those concerns as well. Now they're growing massively. Like they're growing like crazy, but the bankruptcy thing, I can imagine. You like NVIDIA or AMD more? I keep getting this question. I keep having a crappy answer. I don't know. Like both are not overvalued, but a little bit richly valued because they've both had their massive run up already. So the question becomes, which one has more partnership opportunities in the future? AMD is powering Facebook's metaverse, right? Well, that depends if Facebook's going to be a thing. NVIDIA is doing like 80% of all the Bitcoin mining, crypto mining. Well, are people even going to mine crypto in 2 years, right? Like all these things matter. If I had to pick gun to the head, I would pick NVIDIA just from the gaming perspective as well, because I've seen NVIDIA more on the gaming stuff, but not a buyer of any yet. So don't fully know. All right. That is pretty much it. Thank you, 157 people, for being here. Please sign up on my new app, link in the description, my new startup. I really appreciate you, everybody who came here to check it out. Audia.io/register would mean the absolute world to me. I am posting live or public investor updates at wefunder.com/Audia. I post it once every month. So for anyone, even if you're not invested, if you would like to read it, it's a pretty long, in-depth update on platform growth, usage, all that stuff. So September 1st, that update will be live at wefunder.com/Audia. For those who signed up, give me some feedback. That would mean the absolute world to me. For the rest of today, I have some podcast clips coming out with Sean. We talked about a bunch of stuff yesterday. Really, really interesting stuff. I think you guys are going to enjoy some of the macro stuff we talked about. We talked about Apple, Netflix, all that stuff. And I have a Palantir video coming out about this new Palantir pack that is incredibly interesting. There was a journalist who reported Palantir employees are similar to the PayPal mafia. There was some investigative stuff she did. So I'll be happy to cover that as well. I'm still trying to get over my cold. Hopefully within one more day, I will be COVID free. So we'll see what happens. We'll try to do a late night stock talks today. I literally hate that I haven't been able to post for 3 days, but every time I tried, I was just like, all right, I'm dead right now. So I appreciate you 144 people being here. It means the world to me. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day. Have a great Tuesday. Kill this week. I hope you guys have a great second big day beginning to the week, and we go as hard as we can. And I will see you a little bit later today. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.